how Robert's kind of responded to his situation from early last year, how he's bounced back, or whether you have a guy stashed on a beach somewhere with eligibility.
No, not that I know of, but he's handled it well. I mean, it was a tough year for him, and just had a great spring, great summer, great fall camp, and just had some failure early, and it wasn't good, and so I didn't really know what to expect this spring and how he was going to really fully respond and compete especially with Nolan getting here, who's very talented. And, I thought Robert, he was one of the bright spots this spring. He really competed. I mean, they both kind of were, they basically finished neck and neck coming out of spring. So, more to come. But I think the biggest thing with Robert is, again, he's done it. But how will he take that to game day? That's the next step for him, is winning the job like he did last year, but then taking it to game day. And so, we've seen that before. We had a guy named Catanzaro around here who, we couldn't fire quick enough, right? I mean, it was not good his freshman year. I mean, it was painful, all right? Those of you who were around here was that 10? Yeah, we lost 5 games by 6 points or less, and it was like every game came down to a kick. That guy left here as the leading scorer in the history of the school and made some of the biggest kicks we've ever seen. And so, but that was the next step for him. We went and signed a kicker. Catanzaro still won the job, and he took it to game day, and he went from there on and on and on, all the way into the NFL. To be determined. But what he did this spring demonstrated, his competitiveness and his will to, get back on the horse and go.
Is this as healthy as you guys have been entering fall camp past year or two?
We got a couple more weeks to go, but we're really right now in a good spot. And only guy I think won't be in camp, Miles, towards ACL again, last year. So he's one that will be in camp but not participating. He'll just be in the treatment protocol. He's the main one right now. I think, a couple of guys are right there on the fringe, but we anticipate being in camp. So we're in a pretty good spot right now. Hopefully we can stay that way.
What's your reaction to seeing that the Panthers are going to come down here and do their FanFest?
That's great, man. I think that's awesome. I mean, I was excited to hear that, and kind of a cool, I guess, tip of the cap to kind of where they, I guess, started out there. I was at Alabama. I remember when that was going on because I was at Alabama when they were doing that here, and so pretty cool. And I guess Mike Reed was a part of that, playing here in the Valley as well.
Will that change anything logistically?
No, not really. No, it's just kind of it's kind of all built into our itinerary and our schedule. Doesn't really impact us at all.
Coach, can you speak on the accountable coaches restriction that was lifted from the NCAA, how it impacts guys on your staff, like a guy like Lorenzo Ward you just brought in?
It's one of the best changes that they've made. I mean, honestly, I'm one of those. It's one of those rules that either couldn't or wouldn't enforce consistently, and so when you got stuff like that, you just need to change it. And I'm really glad that they did. We thought it was going to change last year, so it's awesome. I mean, I think it's great. It allows us to really use our resources very efficiently, and to be able to, I think, develop your team, especially your young guys, red shirts and freshmen and things like that. I just think you've got a lot more hands on deck, a lot more eyes, a lot more opportunity to be efficient with drills, scout teams, special teams. I mean, all across the board. So, all those guys have been involved in our prep process for sure, recruiting, all your game plan stuff. They've been a true support role, but they couldn't coach on the field. And so, you got out on the field and you got this big staff, and you're a little limited. So this allows you to, have some really veteran guys. And the headset thing, they I think we're going to do away with that as well, because they limited us to 23 headsets, and that's the way it's been. But I don't think with the rule change being so late that they could produce enough, headsets. That's like with all the schools now all of a sudden coming off of this limitation, and but they did away with all the rules. There was all these rules about who could be on a headset, who could talk, all this stuff. So I think it's a great change. I really do. I'm excited about it. As far as who you can put in the box. Who can actually be on a headset, but just the ability to coach, So again, the impact of what you can do to be really, really even more efficient in your time allotted for practice, it's awesome. I mean, it's great, so a lot of eyes. I would say the intensity will ramp up quite a bit with the amount of guys that will be able to coach. So we've kind of assigned everybody to a position. Everybody will be an assistant something. D-Mac's he's going to handle the nickels. He'll coach the nickels. Everybody else will be an assistant something. Nolan Turner will be our assistant safety coach, for example. Daquan will be our assistant DN coach. So everybody's been assigned accordingly that way.
Coach, this time last year, you were talking about the safari that you went on and the back here. You were talking about last year at the media days, the safari you went on and the impact that it had on you, looking out over the stars. Was there any summer activity that you had this year that had a similar impact, or what sticks out from your summer activities?
Yeah, great question. Well, yeah, I did something I've never done. I went. So I want to get to all the states. That's kind of one of my just personal things I want to get to. And so there were 4 states in the Northeast that I'd never been to. And so we took a week. Kath and I just celebrated our 30th anniversary this past Tuesday. And so that was kind of what we did for our 25th anniversary. We went over to Italy. So that was my first time across the pond, as they say. I'd been in the Bahamas and stuff, but I'd never been like to Europe. So that was pretty cool. And so this year for our 30th, her dad, my father-in-law, is a PhD in geography. So he was a professor at Kentucky and at Sanford for a long time, and so he knows everything about everything. So we took him. He's 81 now, and so we took he and my mother-in-law, and we went to Maine, and so it was pretty cool. So we took a week, or a little over a week, and we went to Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Rhode Island. So that was the 4 states that I hadn't been to in the entire Northeast. Just never been there. And so that was pretty cool. Went to Bar Harbor for I think we were there 2 nights. That was pretty cool. We did the Acadia National Park. It's one of the, just hiking and, just beautiful. I mean, I didn't know nothing about Maine. So we were going, and my father-in-law made a pamphlet, and it had information on every place we were going and what I needed to know. And then I had to do a pop quiz at the end of it. And then I had to fill out all the states, which I always struggle with that, so it was really cool. Learned a lot about Maine, and ate a bunch of lobster, as they say. And then we went to Kennebunkport. That was pretty cool. Went to Burlington, Vermont. Beautiful area. Lake Champlain. Saw the University of Vermont. Rode around. Called Leggett. E-biked all over the town, and that was pretty cool. And then we went over to Portsmouth, New Hampshire. That was really neat. Kind of had like a Venice, Charleston type of feel to me. Just old and on the water. And then I really liked Newport, Rhode Island. That was amazing. I knew nothing about any of these places, so I learned a lot, and got to just see some beautiful terrain. We forget how beautiful this country is. That was the one thing. We went over to Italy on our 25th. I was blown. I was like, wow, this is amazing. But there's so much in this country I haven't seen. So anyway, I'm down to 7 states. I got Nebraska, I thought I was going to get to go there this year for Omaha, but I got Nebraska, Idaho, Iowa, North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, Wyoming, and Alaska. I think that's 7. So I'll get there one of these days.
I just went to Alaska this summer.
Was it awesome?
Yes, make some time for it.
Yeah, I'd like to do that. I think that'd be cool. Might do like one of them Royal Caribbean cruises or something to do it. Don't they have like big cruise boats or something?
We did a week on a cruise boat and then a week kind of on land, train and car.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to do that. It'd be cool. I want to go when it's warm, though. I don't think I'm going to go in January.
Probably not too distant future. You'll probably get to go to the Bay Area when you have to play Cal or Stanford out there now.
Yeah, I've been there.
Something.
I've been
No,
there.
you've been there.
Yeah, I've been there.
I mean, what's that like? You know, you're part of a conference now that, you know, it's expanded.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, I don't even pay attention much anymore. I just know we're playing Georgia August 31st. I mean, it's you know, just wait till next week and something else will change. There's been so much change in college football. It's you know, like I said, you just focus on what impacts you, what you got to do each day. So, you know, as I've said many times, I think 3 or 4 years from now, it's probably a different conversation. But it's where we are today.
How was Dabo Swinney's EA 25 skill play?
Yeah, man, sleeping on me a little bit. Ross sent me a tweet last night. Had my speed on there. They must have my going down the hill speed. Appreciate the love they gave me on that. I sent that to all my teammates. I sent that to Antonio Langham. I'm like, yeah, man, just saying. So had a little fun with that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That was pretty cool. That I know that's a big deal that coming out, and everybody's excited about it. And good to see that 92 team still getting a little love.
In the past, you've kind of had a word going into the season that describes the team. Have you come up with anything yet, even though fall camp hasn't started and you haven't really got a chance to be out on the field with the team since spring, or is that a wait-and-see mode with fall camp?
Yeah, no, I do. Not that I would share it here. That's kind of that's what I'll share with the team. It's part of what I'll share with the team when we get going with them on the 30th. But it's always something that you know relates to you know where we are and you know what we got to do. You know. So moving forward, but it's definitely something that's put a lot of thought into. I got notes for notes in my phone. You know, just always thinking, always you know, getting ready. And but can't wait to get started tomorrow morning with our staff. We got a big 5 days coming up, and a great opportunity for us to you know really reinstall our program and you know get ready to roll so that we can serve these players the way we need to.
It's been your assessment of the 25 class coming together so far and a few years into NIL era. Now, do you feel like there's a really clear divide between the type of players you guys are going to go after and get, and maybe those that you won't, given what you will and won't do in the recruiting process?
Yeah. Well, first of all, our class is awesome. I mean, you know, different this year in that most of our guys were committed. Most of our guys last year committed after our visit. Most of the guys this year were committed going into the visit. So a little different. We're not going to sign. It's not a big class. We don't have a lot of. I mean, you can do the math. Y'all are all smart. Y'all can count the scholarships. We don't have a lot of spots. We don't have many spots. And so you know we you know exactly what we're looking for. But we're super excited about our class. And you know there's some big time. I can't talk about them personally, but we've been able to get, you know, the guys that we don't offer many guys, first of all. So if we get one of the guys that we've offered, we obviously think pretty highly of them. And so we're really excited about where the class is. And as far as the NIL stuff, I mean, it's been great for us. I mean, it's really been a blessing for our guys. You know, I'm very appreciative of all the people who've, you know, donated to the 110 Society so that our guys can take advantage of opportunities in that space and hopefully they'll continue to do that. So it's been great for us. You know, from a recruiting standpoint, you it's also been good for us. I mean, sometimes I think people think just because a guy doesn't come to Clemson, it's because of NIL, and that's not the case. I mean, that is the case in sometimes, for sure, but that's not always the case. Sometimes, there's other great programs, there's other great coaches and people, and sometimes kids just, it's a better fit for them somewhere else. That's just part of recruiting. That's why I don't really ever get caught up in who we don't get. I mean, I think that's the key is to focus on the ones you do get, and that's what we've been able to do around here a long time. But again, as far as our recruiting, if NIL is the factor, we're probably not going to get them. Just simple as that. If it's a factor, hey, we got as good a shot as anybody. So that's just kind of the world that we live in, and we're in a really good place. We got a great roster. We really like our roster. You don't see many kids leaving here. There's not many guys packing up and leaving Clemson. Don't think that people ain't trying. You don't think people ain't trying to come get Peter Woods or T.J. Parker or some of these guys? You best believe it, but they're all here. And so, we've built this program by, evaluating well. Not that we're perfect, because we're not. We're certainly not perfect, and I'm not perfect. But we've evaluated well, and we've developed well, and we've retained well. And that's why our graduation rates are what they are. That's why we don't just live. We don't just live in the portal, because we don't have a lot of spots, with guys packing up and leaving. It's just not been the case here. So we love where we are and the roster that we have, and think we're well positioned for what's coming. Obviously the lawsuit getting settled, that's, I think, another great thing for college football, because I think it will, we got another year of NIL the way it is, but I think it will normalize NIL and basically create some normalcy with, call it the scholarship, if you will. Now every school can pick and choose on how they want to divide that up, but at least you know what you're dealing with. And I think that's a year away, but I think that'll be a great change for everyone.
Has a decision been made on the second team quarterback entering fall camp?
Well, coming out of spring is CV, and then Trent, and then so that's where we'll start and go from there.
Got time for about two more.
And then Paul Tyson. Don't forget about Paul Tyson. He's looming in the background back there.
Just wanted to go back to recruiting. We're talking to Chris Rump, and he said that your guys' strategy in terms of not offering so many people, it actually helps assistant coaches in terms of not tiring them out. How much do you think that the way you guys do things makes it more palatable for assistants, not as stressful, I guess?
I mean, that's not really a reason for it. I just think that, we've always done things differently, and those of you who've been around here, certainly since I became the head coach, we've always been unique in our approach, and we've always signed a class that's ranked 8th to 15th. In fact, I think the highest ranked class we've signed did the worst. So go figure. But I think we're right where we always are. We're usually somewhere 8th to 15th. I think we've had about 14 top 15 recruiting classes in a row, and we're the second winningest team in the country the past 13, 14 years. And now that Coach Saban's gone, I've got the most draft picks and most first rounders. So we've never had the number one class or anything like that, but we've evaluated well, and we've developed well, and we've retained well, and that's how we've won. And so we know we're not for everybody, but we believe in how we do things, and our track record, we'll just let that speak for itself. But we don't offer a lot of guys because we don't want to we want to get the right guys, and when guys come to Clemson, they like it. And so we're not just trying to fill up with guys. As we've had a lot of success, and we can attract the best of the best, and that's what we've been able to do. We're still getting our top picks, if you will. If you got one spot and you offer 5 or 6 guys, we've been able to get one of those guys that we really, covet. So our approach is I think probably unique, but we've always been different. Really, nothing's changed in that regard.
One more for Coach. You mentioned Coach Saban there. I know Alabama's certainly not on your schedule, but you've had some of your biggest moments against him. What's it like kind of going into that season without him on the sideline anyway?
Well, it's good to know that he's not going to get a rematch from that last one. He's going to have to live with that one. Because chances are, if he did, he'd probably get some get back. So I can ride off into the sunset with that. We'll just have to end it right there, because we about played everybody. We played each year. We played every year. It seemed like for a while there, and we just hadn't played since January of 19. It just hadn't worked out, for them or us. And so, because again, he's the best to ever do it, and chances are you meet up with him, you're not gonna win many of them. So I'm thankful that we were able to finish it the way we did in that last one. But I mean, he's going to be great for college football. He's been great for college football. He's going to continue to be great for college football. He'll continue to be great for Alabama. He certainly has spent his longest professional tenure there, and has created deep roots in Tuscaloosa, and he served that community. So it'll be fun to see him in a different role. He'll bring, I think, a lot of expertise and a lot of insight that only he can bring, in that setting that he's a part of. So should be fun.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Thank you,
Okay.
everybody.